Hello, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you very much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your timeless message from your future self. And the reason why this is timeless is because it is relevant for whenever you find this reading and you choose to view it. It is a collective general reading, so as messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it is meant for someone else. And of course, check out your other placements. If you don't know what they are, in the description box is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said, now let's begin. Tapping into the Sagittarius collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What would Sagittarius's future self like to tell them at this time? What would you like to tell Sagittarius at the time they view this reading? Let's get one more shuffle here for you. Thank you. You have Sacred Space, card number 43. And at the bottom of the deck, you have Protection, card number 38. Both of these cards depict a nest with eggs in them. So I'm going to read to you the meanings of these oracle cards from the Urban Crow Oracle book. And then we're going to dive real deep using tarot to get a clearer message here for you. So, Sacred Space, card number 43. Maybe your sacred space is your nest, your home, or maybe it's the beach or your favorite path in the woods. Sacred space may also point to an inner place, a belief you hold dear. It is a place that brings comfort and nurtures your development. This is your sanctuary. When you receive this card, it is a call to rejuvenate your spirit. It is time to connect with the healing energy of your sacred space. Make time to connect with this space as it will help you center your energy and recharge your spirit. Card number 38, Protection. Crows are fiercely protective of things they cherish. When I created this card, what I wanted to feel at that moment was protected. With everything going on in the world, knowing that there is something greater out there watching over us creates space for peace. It is when we feel at ease that we can create, that we can grow. Hold this card when you need to feel at one with your higher self and divine spirit, as together they offer protection. Use this card as a sign to move forward knowing that you are protected. Lean into its energy during times of stress or when you're feeling vulnerable. Doing so will allow you to shift your focus away from fear and restriction to feeling confident enough to take action. Okay. Let's see where we go with this message. I have two messages right off the bat that came in. Is one, I think you need to create a sacred space within your home, even if it's just a little corner that is yours and yours alone, where you can meditate, where you can be alone with your thoughts, where you can ground yourself. And I think you need to protect that space. There's another secondary message, and we'll see if it comes out in your reading. There's something here about your nest, your home, your nest egg, your finances, your resources that you need to protect. So let's see where we go with this message. Clarify this further, please, for the Sagittarius collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Clarify this message, please, from their future self. We're clarifying card number 43, Sacred Space, and card number 38, Protection. One more shuffle here. Thank you. You have the Eight of Swords, you have the Two of Wands, and you have the Seven of Pentacles. In the bottom row, you have the Ace of Wands, you have the Emperor, and you have the Moon. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Hermit, you have the Knight of Cups, and you have the Six of Swords. That leaves a King of Swords, 10 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. Let's clarify this further now. For the Sagittarius collective, we're using the After Tarot deck to clarify. The images in this deck are different as well as the meanings, but we'll go through them as necessary for your reading today. Clarify this message, please, from Sagittarius's future self. We are clarifying the Eight of Swords, Two of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, the Emperor, and the Moon. The Sagittarius collective. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Eight of Swords is clarified by the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is clarified by the Ace of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is clarified by the Nine of Pentacles. The Ace of Wands is clarified by the Eight of Cups. The Emperor is clarified by the Empress. The Moon is clarified by the Six of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Eight of Pentacles. You have the Queen of Wands. And you have the Five of Wands. That leaves the Nine of Cups, Six of Cups, and the Fool here at the bottom of the deck. There's definitely something here about you protecting your nest egg, or protecting your nest, protecting something that you've built here. Eight of Swords to the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is a card of planning, a card of future planning. I feel like your future self is trying to tell you, instead of worrying about whatever it is here that you have built in your life, and for some of you, this appears to be financially related, there's a need here for you to protect it as you move forward. Eight of Swords to the Two of Wands, and then you have the Two of Wands to the Ace of Pentacles. So there's something here about safeguarding or protecting this opportunity for a long time. Seven of Pentacles to the Nine of Pentacles. So I feel like this is very specific for those of you where you have a lot of money or you have the potential to make money. You either have wealth or you have the potential to make wealth in the future. Like maybe something you're working on now can lead to wealth. And there's something like in the future, there's a need here for you to protect this. To Ace of Wands to the Eight of Cups. When you're moving forward towards this new financial abundance, it's important for you to not repeat a mistake from the past. Emperor to the Empress, and then you have the Moon to the Six of Pentacles. I feel like there's the potential here for someone to take resources from you. And I think when you engage with this person, this is not someone, I don't think this is someone in your life now. Let's see where we go. I want to clarify this more. It's important for you to protect your financial resources, either from someone who's currently in your life or from someone who's about to enter your life. And it doesn't mean that the person in your life or the person coming into your life is only attracted to you for your money or the potential that you have to make money. There was something here from the past that you had to learn to like make sure, because I feel like you're starting over. I feel like this is for a group of you where you're starting over or you have some new creative endeavor here that could like lead to a heavy amount of financial affluence for you. And there's a need here for you. Eight of Swords to the Two of Wands. Like really think clearly. How are you going to safeguard this money? Yeah, moving forward. Clarify the Two of Wands here in relation to that Ace of Pentacles. Clarify the Two of Wands. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Hierophant. We have the Queen of Cups. And we have the King of Cups. King to the Queen of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Two of Cups. This is without a doubt a partnership here in your life. Ace of Pentacles. It is a new partnership. Let's see where we go with this message, because I don't know for some of you if this is an existing person, and for others of you, it could be a new person. Can you clarify that Ace of Pentacles, please? Like, this is okay, so I'm going to read this two different ways. Hierophant, Queen of Cups, and the King of Cups. That would specifically be for those of you who are currently married. You're currently married to this person, or you are in a long-term committed partnership. Like maybe you have financial resources or property tied up with this person. For others of you, this is a new person coming into your life. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Ace of Pentacles, again, is clarified by the Hierophant. The Queen of Pentacles and the Fool card. Yes, this is new. Okay, bottom of the deck, the Hangman. I have two very distinct groups of you here. I have a group of you where you are married or you are in a long-term committed partnership. You have had your financial resources or maybe some type of property or assets entangled with someone else. I'm not sure if the relationship is going very well at this time. If that's your message, your future self is telling you that you need to safeguard your finances. You need to protect your nest egg. You need to protect your retirement here. Right behind that was teamwork, because you worked for this money. You created this wealth for yourself, however large or small it is. And I think if you're in a tumultuous relationship right now and you're contemplating walking away, there's a need for you to safeguard your finances. And that could be like a postnuptial agreement or start saving money on the side. There's something like this. And for those of you who are single, I think you have a new person coming in. It looks like you're starting your life over. You either have money or you're on the verge of having a new financial opportunity, which will make you incredibly financially abundant. In that regards, if you move forward with marriage, two Hierophant cards here with this person, this is telling you to protect that nest egg and to have a prenuptial agreement, regardless of what they have or what they don't have. Because I feel like you end up having more than this person. It's a very, very specific message. These tend to be specific. So yeah, it's like it'll take you a long time to cultivate your wealth here, or to develop your skills to get you to the Nine of Pentacles. And if you're in a tumultuous relationship right now, you need to protect your finances before you move forward. So again, a postnuptial or safeguarding your money somehow. Speak to a financial advisor. I clearly am not one. Speak to an accountant, you know what I mean? An auditor, a lawyer. And for others of you, you're single and you might think at the time of this reading, oh, I don't have any money and I just met this person. Or maybe you meet them 2 months from now and you fall in love and your future self is saying, get a prenuptial agreement. Even if when you meet them, you only have one pentacle, you only have $1 to your name, because in the future, you're going to be financially abundant. Don't enter a long-term committed partnership on the basis of what you have today. Enter it to protect what you will have in the future. And I'm not saying that this relationship is going to crash and burn, but you need to protect yourself. You never know. I think 49 or 50% of all marriages lead, to divorce. So I just feel like this is saying that you're on the precipice of something really big and you need to safeguard and protect it. Also, if it's a new person coming in, you don't know what other commitments they have. Is there an ex involved? Is there alimony, child support, children? You know what I mean? Family members that depend on them. There's just a need here for you to safeguard your resources. 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles is a long time cultivating that Ace of Pentacles and turning it into something of value, of substance. One more shuffle here. Thank you. 7 of Pentacles is clarified by the 2 of Pentacles. The Ace of Swords, everything I just said is the truth. And the Ace of Cups, bottom of the deck, 4 of Wands. This message is going so far as to tell me now, like even if you have your own home, you meet someone new and they want to move in, there's a need here for you to protect your space. I'm not telling you to not allow the person in, but you need to safeguard or protect your space. Nine of Pentacles. One more shuffle here. Thank you. You have the Star, you have the 6 of Swords, and you have the Devil card. Yeah, bottom of the deck, the Hangman shows themselves again. If you're in a current relationship and you think that you're going to branch away from this person in the future, you're planning on getting a divorce or untangling your resources from them, or like maybe there's a house involved, your future self is telling you, you need to protect your nest egg. You need to protect your investment. You need to protect your money. You need to protect your financial solvency for the future by inquiring with someone who has knowledge from now. Like you need to, like I said, speak to someone who is a Queen of Pentacles in terms of financial resources, like an accountant, a financial advisor, an attorney, something like that. And if you are single, there's something here about you safeguarding your resources. And that's interesting. I've been with him for 6 years. And originally when we met, things were very complicated. I was leaving a marriage. He was still in one and exiting, and things were very complicated. And the discussion came up a few times that I had left my marriage. I left my marriage before him. I was just still going through the divorce. And we sold the marital home, and I got, I had this house. This was not the marital home. And then there he was exiting a marriage. He had no other home to go to. And I remember having a conversation with my dad, and he was like, well, you can have him move in with you. And I was like, well, of course, if he needs a place to stay. I mean, what am I going to do? Thanks for doing everything that you did. And, the motel is down the street. And my dad said to me, don't put his name on the house. And I said, oh, don't worry about that. I will never do that. Oh, if we buy a home together in the future and he's putting in a deposit and and it's equal and I'm putting in a deposit, that's different. That's something that we have created together. But it took me a lot to come out of that divorce. I left with 1 pentacle. I'm not in the 9 of Pentacles, but I'm getting there. I'm trying to get there. And this house is all I have. And I never want to be in a position again where I was in my marriage, where I could not leave. Because it's like, where am I going to go? Sleep in my car? So now that I have this, and look, I hope I spend the rest of my life with this man. I love him dearly, but I'm not putting his name on this house. He wants to buy a house where he has, shared debt and shared investment and shared equity. It's fine. We can go 50-50, but not on this house. And I think that's a message for some of you. I'm not telling you not to allow this new person to move in, but I wouldn't be so quick to add them to the mortgage, add them to the deed, or even add them to the lease if it's a rental. And I think this is your message. It's coming in very loud and clear. Emperor to the Empress. This is what I want to clarify for you. Clarify the Emperor here, please. Actually, scratch that. We'll go back to that in a second. Let's clarify that Ace of Wands, because there's something here about you're on the precipice of this new beginning. Either you're going to leave this person and move forward. In that respect, protect your stuff from this person, but also from the next person that you meet. Again, you don't want to add their name to the deed, the mortgage, the lease. You certainly don't want to slap their name on your bank account. You know, and you could be in love with them. It doesn't mean you can't have a joint account with them, but you should still have a primary one that is yours and yours alone. So there's something here about learning from the past, like doing it differently. Ace of Wands. Tell me about the Ace of Wands here. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Ace of Wands is clarified by the Three of Swords. So you have a new beginning coming here. 10 of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Bottom of the deck, 9 of Swords. So this is so specific for those of you where you are exiting a relationship or you're contemplating doing that. Safeguard your money now. And in the future, when you meet this new person, this King to the Queen of Cups, you want to remember that lesson of how, like how long it took you to get back on your feet. Don't be so quick to allow the next person to slap their name on everything. You know, your bank accounts, your property, your vehicles. If you go jointly in on the expense and the or expenditure or the purchase, that's different. But for someone to just come in and think that your sacred space is now suddenly their sacred space, that they, again, you don't know the new person's obligations elsewhere. So try not to entangle yourself too much with them. And for those of you where you've already left someone behind, with that Three of Swords, you're still healing your heart. You're going to have a new person come in. I'm not saying they're a bad person. I mean, I see no indication here that they are. But, and of course, use your discernment. But you should still safeguard yourself because you might still be raw and vulnerable from the loss of this connection. So just don't allow someone new to come in and you're so happy because you're in love and you met the right person, like I did when I met him. But I still knew, and my dad reinforced that in that conversation, don't put his name on everything. And I remember saying to my father at the time, all I have is an 1860 Victorian that's falling apart. And I have like $200 in the bank account to my name. My house wasn't even furnished. I'm like, he's not with me for my money, Dad. And my father said to me, but you don't know what you'll make in the future. That was before I started doing tarot online. But my dad was like, but you never know. I mean, you could hit the lottery a year from now. Like, you just never know. And I was like, okay, you're right. And I'm glad that I took the advice. Is my home his home? Essentially, yes, he lives here. But it's still my home. Like, legally, it's still my home. And when we buy our new home, we've been talking about actually buying our home. That will be our home, but not this one. Eight of Cups. Learn from the past here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Strength card. Queen of Cups. There you are again. And the Emperor. So you have a divine masculine or divine feminine now entering your life when this person leaves. Or like I said, some of you have already left this person. You have someone new coming on, and this is your divine counterpart. However you want to identify that person, a soulmate, your twin flame. Tell me about the Empress here. And this person should have no problem with you doing this. I think they'll fully understand. The Emperor. Tell me about the Emperor here. One more shuffle. Yeah, you have this King of Swords leaving. They don't have to be an air sign. But this is someone that you did accumulate some kind of wealth with. Or, again, something was joint in terms of assets with them. But they were very cold. And in the end, they broke your heart. There was some kind of betrayal here. So get ready for the new person. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Emperor is being clarified by the Ten of Cups, the Strength card, and the Lovers. I told you. Strength to the Emperor, Strength to the Emperor, the Lovers, and the Ten of Cups. Bottom of the deck, you have the Three of Pentacles. I just got chills. So you have a divine counterpart coming in. Yes, you are to protect your resources, your sacred space, your nest egg, even from your divine counterpart. And they should have no problem understanding that because they should want the same for themselves. The Empress. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Empress is clarified by the Seven of Swords. Not doing that again. Knight of Wands and the Four of Cups. Definitely not doing that again. Look at the Seven of Swords. This person is like walking away from the past, okay? Holding those swords. You have heartbreak here. You have manipulation all wrapped up in this card. Betrayal. That is what you're walking away from. Don't make a mistake. In the After Tarot deck, this person has not fully stepped into the trap yet, but they're close. So there's a need here to look back into the past, what you went through. Again, I'm not telling you that your divine counterpart is going to do this to you, but there's still a need for you to safeguard because, again, you don't know what other obligations they have. So the Knight of Wands, when you move forward, don't be reckless. Don't repeat that past mistake. Three of Wands, you want to move forward differently. You have the Magician here and you have the Ten of Cups. Oh my God, this is beautiful energy for you. So you do have a divine counterpart coming in. The Moon. if you don't safeguard your possessions, again, your money, even your future money, there's a potential here for you to be left penniless, almost like a beggar. And it might not be from this person. It could be an obligation from this person. I remember when I married my first husband, my only husband to date. I'm not remarried yet, but when I married my first husband, I was making more money than him because he was paying so much out in alimony and child support. And I remember the ex-wife calling me I was working at a bank at the time as a bank teller. She knew it was a bank holiday that I had off. So she called me. She knew he would be at work. And she wanted to talk to me about the kids and how much they're loving me and blah, blah, blah. And she was trying to be very friendly. What she was trying to get out of me was how much money I make, because she thought she can go back to court to siphon some of my resources. Like, she was trying to say that my income that I was now bringing into the household with him, household apartment we were renting, but bringing into the household, that she should have a share of that. And I was like, no, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. We have different bank accounts. I write him a check out for 50% of the rent. No, it doesn't work that way. Like, I was very smart at 22 years old, thanks in part to my dad, who was like, oh, don't do that. This guy has a lot of financial obligations and you don't need the ex-wife. God forbid something happens to him. You're dating. There's no will. Now she's coming for your place. Like, my dad was right. So again, we don't know this person's obligations. I don't think an emperor would want to screw over an empress or vice versa, if they truly are a divine counterpart, because they have worked as equally as hard for what they have as you have. But it could be people attached to them, parents, siblings. People come out of the woodwork when someone dies, and they will look to anyone to try to get money. We've seen that play out before, right? So again, it might not be that. I don't think it's this person. I just think it could be people attached to them. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The moon card is clarified by the King of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords, and Temperance. Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah. Somebody connected to them will see your wealth as his or her wealth, and therefore their wealth. And it very well could be children. It could be an ex here. Yeah, because I'm looking at the Nine of Swords. There's like a child here looking up at an adult. And you're here as Temperance. You're showing up here as the Nine of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles, you worked very hard for your money. So there's something like that where there's someone attached to this person that sees your bank account. Oh, that means it belongs to mom or dad. Therefore, it's mine. No, it doesn't work that way. And I think that's why you need to protect your nest egg. Tell me about that Six of Pentacles. And that's what you're not seeing. You might think the kids are lovely, and they're going to love you as a stepmother or stepfather. Guard yourself. Guard your stuff. And after 24 years of raising those two kids and them calling me mom, and I never asked for them to, I was always like, oh, don't do that. Like, just, you have a mom, you, for good or for bad, that's your biological mom. And I would say to them, and they would call me mom, and I would say, or they would say mommy, and I would say mommy J or mommy Jen, because I felt awkward. I was not their biological mom. I didn't want to step into that role. I wanted to be motherly to them without replacing their mother. That wasn't my role to replace their mother. But I'll tell you, when that divorce happened, those kids have nothing to do with me. And they got their first car, and I paid for braces, and I paid for college. I paid for rent for 2 years when she lost some funding that she had because she changed her major. They withdrew her funding, and she was like, oh, well, I can go to work and pay for school, but what about housing? And I was like, oh, yeah, I got you covered, like an idiot. But I loved her, and I still do. I wish the kids the best. But yeah, they saw me as the enemy when the divorce happened. Something like this could happen again. I just feel like there's something here with kids or family that'll come after your bank account. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Six of Pentacles is clarified by the Hermit, the Two of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. Be very smart about this. Page of Cups. Yeah, there's something here about kids or familial tie or something like that. That again, they perceive your wealth or your status or your property because it belongs to their sibling or their child or their parent, that suddenly what you have is theirs as well. Let's get you some advice. Okay, so protect your nest egg. For those of you where you're leaving someone who's toxic, protect your nest egg from that King of Swords. Again, it doesn't have to be a masculine or an air sign. It's just how they showed up. Protect that before you disengage from them. Speak to a financial advisor. And then also protect from the next person who actually is your soulmate, divine counterpart. Because again, not because of them, but because of people attached to them. And if you're single, you're meeting someone new. You might think right now, like I was 6 years ago, you didn't have a pot to pee in. But in the future, your future self is telling you, you will be financially abundant. So protect yourself. Again, not from that person, but from their family or children or other obligations that they have. Let's get you some advice. Devil, yeah. 3 cards of advice here for Sagittarius, protecting their sacred space. And that first message that came through, yes, absolutely. I've always had it. I encourage people to have it. A little nook, a chair in the corner that's yours and yours alone, where you could sit down, you could breathe, you could meditate, you could read a book, you could take a nap, something, just carve out a little space for yourself. You don't need a big elaborate room or anything, or, your own she shed or, or a man cave or anything like that. But I definitely would create a little sacred space for yourself and protect it. But this seems to be much larger in terms of your financial resources. 3 cards of advice here. One more shuffle. Thank you. You have the 6 of Cups. You have the 8 of Cups. When you walk away from that past person, some of you already have, some of you you're about to. 7 of Pentacles, you're going to start working on building your wealth. Bottom of deck, 4 of Wands. You might even buy your own home, property, get your own apartment. Yeah, there's definitely a need here to protect that. Protect what you have if you're disengaging. And then moving forward in the next relationship, even though they're a divine counterpart, you want to protect that as well. There's that Queen of Swords again, and the 3 of Swords to the 5 of Cups. Yeah, there's somebody attached to this new person. Let's see if we can find out who it is. There's someone attached. And again, it could be an ex of theirs that they pay alimony to. And now suddenly, because you come along and you're wealthy, they think they can get more alimony from them. Like, what I went through with his ex-wife. So who is this person attached to the Emperor or the Empress? Again, I don't read body parts. One more shuffle. Thank you. Who is this person? Wheel of Fortune, 8 of Pentacles, and the Celestial Weaver. So as you're restarting, rebuilding your life, working to rebuild your life, you meet this person. There's someone attached to them. Tell me more about who's attached. One more shuffle. Thank you. 7 of Swords. Told you. 5 of Wands. Oh, God. And the Empress. It's someone who would be out for your money, and it's not your divine counterpart. 4 Pentacles. It's someone attached to them who doesn't have a lot of money or who relies on them for money or support or assistance. It could even be parents. You'd be surprised. I've heard stories over the years of doing private readings for people. Yeah, it's definitely not your Emperor or Empress, but it is someone attached to them who suddenly sees your wealth as their meal ticket. Anything else Sagittarius needs to know about this person? One more shuffle. Thank you. 10 of Pentacles, Temperance, there you are, and the King of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and the 3 of Cups. Yeah, it's definitely something here about you can be kind and you can be generous, but safeguard your money. It's going to take you a while. If you're leaving one relationship or between now and you meet the next one, you never know what happens, what money you come into. You could be an entrepreneur in disguise. You could be right now just having a regular 9-to-5 job. Nothing wrong with that. But you don't know if 5 years from now you wake up with this great idea and you decide to launch your own business and suddenly you're in the 10 of Pentacles. I mean, your future self is telling you it's more likely that that's what will happen to you. Or you come into some inheritance, or you come into some kind of wealth or abundance, or you hit the lottery. Something like that. Just protect yourself because there's someone attached to the new person, the next person, that is not sitting so pretty. 4 Pentacles, the Tower, and the World. Yeah, they have their own financial issues. And suddenly, because you're hitched up with someone who they're related to, you now look like a meal ticket. So just protect yourself. That is what I have for you, Sagittarius. That is your message from your future self. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, maybe just found them to be helpful, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And yeah, if you're able to do that. And until I read for you again, good luck. Be smart about all of this. I'm sure you will be. And as always, I am sending you light, love, and peace.